All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Bowker, very excited to be talking to an individual who headlines BYB 37 Denver Brawl 4, and that transpires on February the 22nd. A very intriguing BYB super lightweight championship fight as champion Harry Gigliotti defends his belt against Jon Barnard, and great having Harry back on Bare Knuckle Bowker today. How are things going, man?
Going good. I touched down in Colorado yesterday, trying to get a little acclimated before the fight. But besides obviously, I said I had a terrible flight yesterday, a little bit of turbulence. There was no Wi-Fi, nothing like that, so it was kind of bumpy, and my stomach was a little off. But today I got some food in me. I'm pretty much on weight right now, so everything's going good. I'm just keeping my eyes on the prize and getting ready for the fight.
Yeah, and I feel like that's such a, I guess, reoccurring talking point with fighters who compete in higher altitude landscapes, like Denver being a big one, and obviously doing your due diligence, getting out there a bit early. I guess in previous parts of the training camp, have you done anything different to account for the altitude difference at all, or perhaps not so much, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I like to add hill sprints in and stuff and try to do elevation gains for most of my runs. I live in Haverhill, Massachusetts. They say Haverhill has a hill every other hill, so it's every time you're going down, you're pretty much going up. I was running at least 500 to 600 feet elevation gains per every run, so I'm pretty normally used to the elevation. I'm pretty close to the New Hampshire border. Though we are at sea level, there is a lot of hills, like I said. So um, I don't really feel it like I thought I would out here. And I did make my debut. It only went 40 seconds, so I did. I don't even know if I really felt the change in acclimation. But we'll see. We'll see in the fight. I did use elevation mask. I did a ton of things, bike sprints, try to get my heart rate at the maximum it can go. VO2 max spikes and stuff. So I think that's what you need to do if you're going to train for higher elevation and stuff like that. So we're going to see how it transitions over to the fight night, but I feel good. I feel ready to rock and roll. I'm healthy, so I'm just getting ready to see what's next. And I'm going to do some mitt work today. I'm going to go to the gym, run on the treadmill a little bit, and just see how my lungs transition over to the higher elevation. But I think it should be good.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're handling it in a, thorough way for sure. I guess I'm curious, just with this being the first title defense and everything, like, has life changed a great deal since becoming champion? Like, I saw you, got to, give Grandpa the gold, and that looked like a
For
great
sure.
moment. But like, how much has changed in your life, if anything at all, since becoming champion?
It's decently growing. I'm getting a bigger platform. I'm getting a bigger following. I think sponsorships getting bigger and stuff like that. More people are starting to catch on to bare knuckle. I mean, obviously, the promotion itself just got Vice TV on board. BKB obviously being on board since the summertime. Things are moving along, not just for the fighters but for the promotion, and I think that kind of goes hand in hand. Um, I think after this fight, though, this should open more doors, and I think that more people, hopefully corporate sponsors, things like that, will kind of see what's going on. I think Vice will kind of open that door for us and give us that avenue as well. I'm just excited to be able to defend the title, though, out here in my country, in the homeland of where it all started for me, where I made my debut. I made my debut against Jenkins in Colorado at the Starkyard Event Center. So it's just really cool to be back where it all started, and I'm defending my world title almost a year and a half later. And it's just cool to see the movement, and the progression that I'm doing, and I'm just excited to showcase and put myself on full display.
Yeah, and I mean, tremendously exciting. Like, I feel like we're on the same wavelength because I was going to mention the Vice TV deal and just, big plans to air 13 live events all throughout this year. And I mean,
Big.
Vice is such an established name, but also this being like that first foray into the live sports market. I mean, I think that shows, I guess, what they see in the sport of bare knuckle to your point of seeing how much it's been growing and everything.
I think that's kind of what I'm getting at is that they're seeing the growth of the sport, not just the barbaric gladiator style clash of two men going to war, hand to hand, but it's actually becoming an evolved sport. It's becoming a more technical sport. A lot more boxers, a lot more MMA's fighters coming over, like me and you have went over in the past. And that's cool to see that Vice can kind of recognize that, and they're buying into it. You know what I mean? And And but there's another big announcement that I don't even know about yet coming out. I think either tomorrow or Thursday, and I think they're going to make the announcement officially on Saturday. So there's just a lot of things to look forward to other than just the fight. Just exciting to see this all become what it's going to be, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, and a very prominent part of it just being that you're headlining the kickoff event as part of this
Sure.
multi-year Vice TV deal. That has to be exciting as well.
History in the making. That's the greatest thing that anybody could do, especially in a combat sports world where some people train their whole lives to get these moments, and I get to do it in front of hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people technically, because Vice has such a big following. Um, I think this is going to get open the door and build a new following, not just for people that love boxing and combat sports and bare knuckle fighting and things like that. Um, I think this will grow it out to what it deserves to be, and people are going to bite the bait. I mean, it's already kind of becoming something bigger, and this is the door opener, I believe.
Yeah, because they've such a strong base with their different documentary series like Dark Side of the Ring, Dark Side of
Yeah.
the Cage. And I feel like even though Bare Knuckle is very much growing in its own individual way, I feel like there's so much crossover potential between, people who are into, pro wrestling or MMA and then seeing, BYB Bare Knuckle popping up. So it just seems like such a great, arrangement and everything like that.
I have a ton of people saying to me that like their algorithm, every other thing now is like either BYB, BKFC, things like that. Even the little hay fights that they have and stuff like that over in the UK, Russian and stuff. Bare knuckles becoming a world pronounced thing, and then the growth of it within the last 10 years has been, it's thinking that it was just a small little thing. Now it's becoming this, world promoted thing. I could see this sooner or later being close to the level of the UFC and MMA, and obviously, I think it's reached that star status that MMA has. I mean, comparably, some people would say, sooner or later, this might even be past. Certain fans will come over from MMA that like the striking ability of the fighters, and don't really like the ground game. This gives you that opportunity to kind of watch that dirty boxing, clinching, and boxing all kind of in one, and it's just beautiful to see it. You know what I mean? It's cool to see it all come together. The art of war, the true art of war.
And I know we kind of touched upon it a bit after you had captured the championship, but just, still thought to ask this all the same in case, someone's just checking out, this for the first time and didn't get
Yeah.
to see the prior interview, but just how rich that history is with the Police Gazette diamond belt. Because you mentioned the term history before, like just being interwoven in something like this. It's kind of like a cool combination of things because there's such a rich tradition with the Police Gazette championship and then just how much this new, I guess, modern resurgence of the sport is like looking towards the future. So it's kind of a combination of like the past and then growing something quasi new in the future, if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah, exactly. No, 100%. I mean, the belt's from 1882. John L. Selvin, the likes of people, Billy the Butcher, who, you know, you got movies like Gangs of New York and things like that, where, like I've mentioned, it has the Police Gazette newspaper article and things like that. This is history. I mean, this is modern day gladiators, and it's becoming technical, and it's starting to become more of a chess match. I like to always bring chess, not checkers, into the game of any kind of art of combat sports and things like that. I always try to dissect and figure my opponent out. This is becoming the sweet science. It's not just a clash anymore of two people just going hand to hand, head to head. Um, and it's just history. It is history. I mean, the belt, the fight game, bare knuckle, BYB itself, Vice joining. I mean, it's surreal. It's a surreal opportunity to be a part of it. It's a real opportunity to be in history, and it just every day I get closer to feeling greater. And I plan on showing that on February 22nd.
Yeah, and I guess just even tied to like a similar idea of like the past, but also journeying to the future. Like I feel like you're in such an interesting spot. 'Cause I mentioned the multiple generations of
Yeah.
boxers in
Yep.
your family, and you being that first generation in bare knuckle. It's like you have such like a good grounding in boxing, obviously, but just
Yep.
this idea that bare knuckle is its own, sweet science in its own way, like developing individual fight IQ for
Yeah.
that. So yeah, it seems like a good balance of those two things.
within the the dirty boxing aspect and that Muay Thai clinching type, all that Thai plumbing stuff like that. Um, Obviously, that's not my biggest thing. I go to is the Thai plums, but I've been adjusting. I've been working with a lot of MMA guys. Like I said, the sport's evolving. I want to evolve with it. I always try to dissect the sweet science of any kind of combat sport, and I'm taking that boxing ability and I'm kind of transitioning it over into having that Muay Thai clinching style too. And it's just really crossing over to be make me the fighter I am right now in this sport. And I'm a pioneer to it. I think this is becoming. I know it's the 37th event. It's kind of a brand new sport still, and I feel like I'm one of the first to really be a part of the evolution of it.
Yeah, no, well said. You're definitely in a prime position in that regard as well, for sure, man. But you've also had quite a bit of familiarity with fighting in a variety of triangles, it seems like. Like, obviously, you
Oh
had
yeah,
that Triller Fight Club
yep,
triad combat fight and
yeah.
demonstrable success in BYB thereafter. So, just, yeah, really, I guess, orienting your approach well to an unconventional space, but a space that's also becoming like more and more familiar, I
The
guess. Like,
second, my second home in a weird way. You know what I mean? Well, I would say like my third home because I grew up in a boxing ring, and now transition over to the Trigon, making that kind of the new basis of where I'll be standing and where I'll be fighting. Um, but it has kind of became my second nature to fight in there, and it's what my fourth. It's my fifth fight fighting in the Trigon, but my fourth bare knuckle fight. Um, I feel comfortable in there, and I know the angles. I know, I'm calculated in there, and I plan on, like I say, being the best me that night when I fight. And Saturday is going to be a fun night for everybody. I think me and Jon Barnard are both going to leave everything in there that night. It's mutual respect. But I feel like I'll be the better man, and I want to show that. I want to put myself in full display. I want to show Vice. I want to show the world, and I want to show my family, everybody at home in Haverhill, Massachusetts, that this is who I am. This is what I'm building with the promotion, and I'm here to stay.
yeah, and curious to get your thoughts on Jon Barnard because he seems like he's also had demonstrable success in
Yeah,
his run as well, not even in the sport for 2 years, but already some pretty emphatic finishes, including a win over Harold McQueen last
yep,
time out, a
huge win.
BYB
Yeah.
champion. So yeah, curious to just get your thoughts on, I guess, his resume, skill set, etc.
Um, I think he's going to bite a little too much off than he could chew on this one. He did step up to 130 and had a tough time with Harold McQueen. Actually, that was at 135. Now he's at 140. Um, I'm a different kind of juggernaut, I think, to him. I think I have a little bit more levels. And there really is levels to this game. But he's a well-respected combat athlete, and I'm going to have to give that where it's due. I respect the man, but I just think that I have a little bit more than him, and I plan on showing that. I plan on showing, where I stand in the sport, and there really is levels. I plan on showcasing that and utilizing my jab, my check left, staying long, being precise, and showing my pretty style of boxing. But it's all respect. I really, we actually did a face off on a Zoom call podcast last week, and we both feel the same way. He thinks he can beat me in certain standards. I think I can beat him in other standards, and I think it's going to be cool to see two different styles. More of a level change volume puncher with more of kind of a boxer puncher, level change, outside technical boxer, and it's going to be a clash. It's going to be a clash of two different styles, and I think the best man's going to, really, really show out that night, and I feel it's going to be me. And like I said, all respect, but maybe the best man win.
Yeah, so I guess the plan is to, bring that belt back to Rocksteady Boxing Gym and have it hanging above the ring, eh?
Lawtown boxing, lockdown boxing. But yeah, I'm bringing it back to Lawrence, Massachusetts. I'm bringing it back to Haverhill, and better yet, I'm bringing it back to Boston. So, I'm representing my state, I'm representing my city, and everybody at Lawrence Boxing Club, Lawtown Boxing Club, that is dedicated my time. I coach Nick Peralta, Jesse Fabian, and Fernando Clauso and the Candelarios and all of them that have dedicated their time to me, to making me the fighter I am right now. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to showcase. And what are we? 4 days out? I mean, 5 days out now. It's coming quick. I'm already pretty much on weight. It's just a little bit more acclimation, finding my timing a little bit more, and staying steady, and just being precise.
Yeah, and it's interesting because obviously not overlooking this fight at all, but I mentioned how many BYB events would be on Vice throughout the
Yeah,
calendar year, and you're starting the year relatively early by all
yeah,
accounts. So
for
potential
sure.
exposure opportunities all throughout 2025 on that platform, it would seem like if everything fell into your ideal placement, I suppose.
Yeah, I think Harry Gigliotti will be on a couple more Vice cards, hopefully. Maybe by spring or summer if the show's out good and I don't go out with any injuries. Um, but yeah, I have a couple of opponents in mind that I'm not going to mention obviously right now. Maybe after the fight we can have another podcast and talk about it though for sure. I I I I plan on showcasing though this weekend. That's my biggest thing. That's keep my eyes on the prize, one man at a time. Jon Barnard's in front of me, and that's when the dust settled. I plan on showing that I'm the better fighter. But it is going to be a good fight. I think the fans get to win in this one. It's been a long overdue one. A lot of people have been waiting for this one. We got two undefeated bare knuckle, fighters, prospects at one point. Now we're kind of evolving into more of that elite style. He's kind of a veteran. I'm still kind of forming into the veteran I plan to be. Um, it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, and I mentioned you guys headlining, and I think that speaks volumes, especially on an event like this, just with, Helen Peralta and
Yeah,
Leilani Mota having that big fight for the super featherweight
and we can't
championship.
forget my guy Sam Liera either. 6-0, 5 knockouts. That guy's a legend in the sport.
Yeah, that Ryan Jett fight is incredible for
Gonna
anyone that
be a
actively follows the
banger,
sport. Yeah, yeah.
banger, absolute banger. But yeah, no, Helen Peralta. I got Helen Peralta by TKO KO for sure. Maybe. Um, I think last time with the no contest and the headbutt, I think that slowed her up, and it didn't end the way she obviously wanted to. But I'm pulling for Helen. I think Helen Peralta is one of the greatest bare knuckle fighters in the women division, if not in the world. She beat Christine Ferreira, who's been dominating over at BKFC. Um, and you got to give credit where it's due. I think Helen Peralta's going to take this fight. I think she's going to prove herself, and it's cool to be on the stage with these legends that have formed the sport and pioneered the sport into what it is. And I'm the headline. I'm the headline for it. So um, between having Sam Liera on it, Helen Peralta, Carlos Guerrero, who's progressively becoming greater too. So many good fighters on this show, and anybody who's tuning in on Saturday nights in for a great show, and BYB 37 is going to bring it.
Yeah, and I mean, you were giving shout outs to Boston earlier, like John L. Sullivan being, rooted in there and being like one of the big
Yeah,
names of the sport. Yeah, it's just great
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. John L. Sullivan, man, that's who I represent out here in the Boston boy over there. But his family immigrated from Ireland. I got a little Irish in me too. I'm half Irish, half Italian. So, um, I bring a little bit of John L. Sullivan in the ring that when I fight every time. So, got that Irish boy in me, and I got that Boston in me too. So, it's just cool to see me represent the tradition of where it's all come from.
Yeah, I didn't even really think to bring this up, but I just kind of thought of it. I always think of this, and I mean, obviously, I think of his fights for sure, but that anecdote with John L. Sullivan years ago, where like he was like too hungover before one of his fights, and he just kind of came out and he's
Yeah.
like, "Sorry, lads, I had a few too many last night. I'm not gonna fight today. We'll have to reschedule." Like that's just such a
That's
interesting maneuver.
hilarious. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Too hungover. Too hungover. I won't be. John Bernard won't be so lucky on Saturday. I won't be. I won't be drinking on Friday night. But John L. Sullivan's an absolute legend. A legend for that one. But yeah, I plan on showcasing, and afterwards maybe I'll have a couple old whiskeys and some Guinness too. But right now, eyes on the prize. I'm just here. I'm here to showcase. I'm here to be great, and I'm bringing that Boston in me. I'm bringing that old style boxing, bare knuckle style, and I'm a boxer puncher, so it's a style that bare knuckle fight fans will definitely love. If they don't know who I am yet, I mix it up. I got a nice liver shot, get that Mickey Ward liver shot, some would say, um, and it's just I represent the people that represent me in my state, Massachusetts, New England, all that. And February 22nd, I think people will see that in me and the Harry Gigliotti that belongs in there and will stay and is here to stay.
Yeah, just one of the last things I wanted to touch on because at that BYB 32 card during your last outing where you won the championship, you also
Yes,
got
sir.
that KO of the night distinction. Like, what distinction are we getting with this fight here? You mentioned the body shot and
Yep.
everything like that. Like, is that your path to victory? You see here, like maybe a finish via body
I'm
shot or yeah.
I'm predicting a second round knockout, but I know he's durable. I'm not looking for it. I'm gonna let it come natural. Anything after the win is a plus. I always stand by that. Um, I've trained so hard for this though, and I know that he has too. So you know, I know he's gonna bring the best Jon Barnard. I'm gonna bring the best Harry Gigliotti. But if I was gonna predict, I do believe I can stop him at some point in the fight. And if I was going to make my best prediction, I could see it between round 2 or 3. Body shot.
Yeah, just such an exciting fight, and I really appreciate you making time to talk, especially during fight week, no less. I don't think I mentioned that during the conversation. So, yeah, much respect
I'm in
in
my
that regard.
hotel room. I'm in my hotel room. A little different than when I'm actually in my little office podcasting with you. But I'm here. I'm here. I'm nestled in. I'm about to go to the gym. About to cut a little bit more weight. I'm pretty much on weight, but this is just fine tuning, and this is the fun part. This is the part that we work so hard to do. So it's been a pleasure. I always love coming on your podcast and just catching up and shooting the shit, and you guys give us the platform to get to basically tell us who we are and make an introduction, and for the people that don't know us, they get to know who we are, and that's a beautiful thing, and we appreciate it.
Oh, well, that's great to hear. I mean, definitely mutual appreciation. So cool getting to spotlight all of the great fighters in BYB Bare Knuckle Boxing. And I do want to be mindful of the workout you're looking to get in after here, Harry. I figured I'd give you the floor and see if there was like a
Yes, sir.
final thought you wanted to add as we're kind of wrapping up here, though, man.
Yeah, I want to say a big shout out to my hometown in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I want to say a big shout out to my gym at Lawtown Boxing Gym. I want to give a big shout out to all my sponsors who support me day in, day out. Some of them being Goat City Transportation, Morocco Group, Clue Nicotine Pouches, who's also a sponsor of BYB, um, Morrison HVAC, First Class Apparel, um, Gladiator Energy, Canosa Chiropractic offices, ACB Recycling, and yeah, my coach Nick Peralta and Jesse Fabian. They put a lot of time in me building up my strength, my cardio, my technicality, and it takes a kid to raise a village, and I'm just a young kid trying to become a king, and that's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing out here in Colorado.
Yeah, so stoked for BYB 37 Denver Brawl 4. And for anyone that's not in the Denver area that wants to check it out, they can peep it on Vice TV, as we were talking about before, February 22nd. And yeah, super stoked for this super lightweight championship fight here. Jon Barnard, great opponent. You're a great
Yes,
fighter
sir.
as well. So just an
Thank you.
awesome matchup. And just, yeah, really appreciate you coming on Bare Knuckle Bowker during fight week, as I said. And just all the best. I'll be peeping the fight. And yeah, have a good rest of your day, Harry. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. And after this, maybe me and you can talk.
Yeah, no, I would love that, man. We'll set that up for sure. But like I said, until then, looking forward to checking out this throwdown and have a good rest of your day too, Harry. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, Dylan. Thank you, my brother.